Now, the High Court has discharged former GFA boss Kwesi Nyantakyi from the ongoing trial over his involvement in the number 12 Exposé. This follows the prosecution's failure to present Anas Arimeo Anas, who is a key witness in the case against Nyantakyi. The trial has been delayed due to controversies whether Anas, whose modus operandi is to remain masked in public, should be made to testify with or without his mask. However, the Court of Appeal, in a unanimous decision, ordered Anas to testify without his mask. When the case was called on Thursday, state prosecutors requested a month-long adjournment as they seek the Attorney General's advice on the matter, as they were unable to produce Anas to testify. Lawyers for Kwesi Nyantakyi, however, urged the court to strike the charges against the accused. The judge subsequently discharged Kwesi Nyantakyi. For more on this particular story and events in court today, I've been joined in studio by my colleague Hansen Ajiman, who is also our court correspondent. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio today, Hansen.
Thank you.
All right, so let's just go back briefly to what this whole expose was about. Then we can delve into what happened today in court.
So the expose was released in June 2018. Some 7 years ago. Essentially, it was a work by Tiger IPI led by Anas Arimeo Anas, exposing what they described as greed and corruption in Ghanaian football and the continent at large. This expose uncovered instances where high-profile persons paid monies to influence the outcome of football games, including referees, including managers of various football teams, and even top officials. In the case of Kwesi Nyantakyi, he was accused of sometimes taking bribes to facilitate the calling of persons to the national team, that's the Ghana Black Stars.
The senior men's national team.
Senior men's team. He's also been accused, he was accused of also sometimes facilitating Ghana securing certain fixtures or even some favorable results when it comes to competitions that Ghana competed in. Beyond that, he was also seen in that expose receiving huge sums of money from an undercover journalist who at the time posed as a businessman. In conversations between Kwesi Nyantakyi and this undercover journalist, Kwesi Nyantakyi promised to help this businessman with his business interest in Ghana, where he expressed or revealed his close ties with the President of the Republic, then Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to help aid this supposed businessman. The aftermath of this expose was that the authorities had to act, and so the government of Ghana first acted in a manner of dissolving the Ghana Football Association. There was some resistance from the World Football Authority, which is FIFA, because there was the point that government cannot intervene or interfere into the activities of football associations. But ultimately, a normalization committee was formed to bring out about reforms into Ghana football. Kwesi Nyantakyi at the time was CAF vice president.
Right.
He resigned from his post at the time, and other executive officers were also sacked as a result of this normalization committee. But the government of Ghana went a step further to arrest him and charge him with counts of fraud and corruption, and also conspiracy to commit fraud and corruption. So the state, as of 2021, had begun giving out its disclosures to essentially mean that telling lawyers of Anas Arimeo Anas the kind of evidence they have against Anas, the kind of evidence they have against Kwesi Nyantakyi, and the people who will be testifying. They said they had 5 people who will be testifying in all, including Anas Arimeo Anas. And Anas was a key witness for the state because he conducted this investigation.
All right.
But the bigger question was, should Anas testify in court in his mask or not?
All right. Hansen, I'll come back to you for more on this particular issue, but we've been joined on the phone lines by General Manager of Aduana Stars, Nyantakyi Ahin, to get his perspective on this case. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, good evening.
What can you say about this particular development? I don't know if you followed proceedings in court today.
Yeah, I've read a whole lot of things on the social media. I'm very happy and so excited that this case has come to an end. So it has been back and forth. But today, I'm so happy that the judge, in her own wisdom, has just cancelled the case. And I'm so happy for it.
He's been discharged but not acquitted.
Yeah, discharged, yeah, because of want of exclusion.
Yes, so it means he can be recalled to court.
All right, but I hope the current Attorney General will not deliver on this kind of case, and that Kwesi will be a free man. That's my prayer.
Okay, but now many people still believe that Nyantakyi's actions in the expose was unethical. Now, you followed the events surrounding number 12, and even on video, we could see him even take some of the money. What do you make of this opinion that people have of Nyantakyi's actions that led to him being banned?
Yeah, I think I do know something. We are all guilty, but when we are not guilty, we are not guilty. Or we are all guilty, but when we are not guilty, we are not guilty. What happened to Kwesi could have happened to anybody. So we are human. At times when one of us is in trouble, we try to make some mountains out of water, mortar. What happened to Kwesi can happen to anybody. So as a human, we need to pardon our brother. And then moving forward, I think he's learned a whole lot of lessons. And I don't think Kwesi will get himself into that kind of activity again.
So looking ahead, do you see Kwesi Nyantakyi making a return to football administration?
Yeah, I'm sure Kwesi will do it because he loves football so much that after the FIFA ban, Kwesi will return to football.
Now, how you said you followed the trial. Now, what can you say has been the impact on Kwesi Nyantakyi?
Yeah, the announced expose has taken that back for about 50 years. Because it got a football back about 50 years. The referees had their share of the punishment. The normalization committee came, and our football has not been as it is during the days of Kwesi. Kurt is doing his best. He's doing his best. But Kwesi would have done something because he was vice president of CAF, ESCO member of FIFA. Now, Kurt is also gunning for the CAF Executive Council member. If Kwesi was to be there, and Kurt would have been added to it. So they are not supposed to, in fact, have gotten our football 50 years back.
So for your time, sir.
Thank you, my sister.
That was Nyantakyi Ahin, who is the general manager of Aduana Stars. I'll be wrapping up with Hansen Ajiman here. So Hansen, you were talking about the expose. Now, as I indicated, he has been discharged but not acquitted.
Certainly. So when it comes to issues of this nature, the court may discharge you and strike out the cases, but then the matter has not gotten to its final conclusion for the court to either say you are either guilty or not guilty. And so what it means is that at this moment, momentarily, there are no charges against him.
Right.
At the moment, he's a free man. But what it also means is that the Office of the Attorney General can decide to pick up from where they left off by arresting him and starting the trial again. And mind you, the prosecutors in the case, when they went to court today, had indicated that they had written a memo to the Attorney General seeking his advice. And so I'm sure in the coming days, when we hear from the Attorney General what his views and opinions are, we will know if the state will still be much interested in prosecuting Kwesi Nyantakyi or not. But at the moment, he's a free man.
All right, so lawyers for Kwesi Nyantakyi urged the court to strike out the charges against him. That was done. But what of the other side, the state prosecutors? What arguments were they making?
So for the state prosecutors, and perhaps we have to go back a little bit, there was a confusion as to whether he should testify in mask or not. The High Court gave a ruling which said he should show his face to Kwesi Nyantakyi in the chambers of the judge and then come and testify in court in mask. Both parties were not satisfied, so they went to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal said he should remove the mask. Now, subsequent to that, the prosecutors had written to their boss that this is what they have, and Anas had already given indication that if he is made to remove his mask, then he's minded not to testify. And so I'm sure that's a challenge that they are faced with.
Okay.
And so they've written to their boss for answers. They came to court asking the court for a month-long adjournment so that their boss will respond to their memo, and based on that, they will know their next line of action. And so their argument simply was that adjourn for us to hear from our boss, but the judge says no. In the meantime, I'm discharging Kwesi Nyantakyi.
All right, thank you very much, Hansen Agyemang. Hansen Agyemang is our court correspondent.